Are you someone who appreciates neat and organized code space and wondering how you can do that with Jupyter notebooks? How about doing it together as part of our journey of becoming an industry-ready Gen AI professional with our sensible and simple way? For that, let's head over to the Jupyter server. Let's head over to start menu and then we will start our Jupyter server. Just in case if you are yet to install Jupyter in your local, please feel free to refer the last session where we configured Anaconda and Jupyter in our local. Now here is the thing. Let's say we have multiple projects that are listed here, like a project 1, project 2, linear regression, project data visualization, and all of these projects are independent of each other. So basically what we want is when we create a new project or when we create a new notebook, then we want to ensure that this notebook has its own virtual environment like we create in Python. So when we start the notebook in Jupyter, then the notebook should have its own virtual environment and its own requirement.txt with its own version of package libraries. So we will start with creating a new project. Let's create a directory for it first and let's call it project underscore 03. Let's say this is our new project, project underscore 03, and inside this, let's say we have to create a new notebook where we want to assign that notebook to a particular virtual environment. Now you can see here that the kernel that is being offered for us to select is the default Python 3 IPY kernel. What we want is, instead of using the default kernel and default virtual environment, we want to create our own virtual environment for this new project 03, and it should have its own kernel as well. So that's what we are going to do. But for now, let's select the default kernel and let's run the command on a terminal from the notebook. Let's say conda env list. Okay, let me increase the font. Okay, so what it says is that the current environment that we have is base and it is located at this directory. Okay, now if we do a run command on the terminal and if we say pip list, as you can see here, there are a lot of packages that are installed in our base environment, and this is where we want to segregate our notebook or our packages to be installed into a separate virtual environment. And whenever we do the notebook execution, then it should always refer to that new virtual environment only. If we just want to see how many packages are there in the base environment, we can just append it with a find string command and let's see the count of packages that we have. So there are 369 packages that are there in our base environment. We do not want to install our packages in the base environment. So let's proceed and create a new environment for our project. To create the new environment, we will create a new terminal from our Jupyter server and we will call conda. Let me increase the zoom. Okay, conda create -- name and the name of our virtual environment. Let's call it vn underscore my project 03, which is pretty much the name of our project as well. All right, we will say proceed as yes. And we will wait for the package to be downloaded and installed. Okay, seems like our environment has been created. Okay, let's clear the screen. And let's print the environment name one more time. Okay, so we can see that there are two environments that we have as of now. First environment is called base. Second environment is the environment that we created with the name vn underscore my project 03. And this asterisk represents that our notebook or this terminal as of now is pointing to the base environment. And if we want to see what our notebook is pointing to, so we can run the command here, the same command here. To run the command on terminal, we'll put an exclamation mark and the same command conda env list. We should be getting the same response here as well. Alright, so we can see that this notebook as of now is pointing to base, whereas we want it to point it to the virtual environment where we are going to create or install the packages specific to our project only. So ideally, we want to change the kernel where we are able to see a option to select the virtual environment here. As of now, no virtual environment is listed. So let's try to configure that. So to configure that, we will have to install two packages, command prompt, run as administrator, and then we will run the command. Okay. We'll say install the packages, say yes. Okay. It looks like Anaconda kernel C is installed. Okay, and let's try to restart our Jupyter notebook again. So we'll stop the server with a control C. Okay, let's close the browser window as well. And let's start the Jupyter server again. Alright, let's open some notebook. Okay, and now we can see that this is now pointing to the base environment. The conda env base is present, but still our virtual environment is not present. So what we will do now is we will go to our command prompt here. So let's clear the screen, and the next command that we would want to execute is from our virtual environment. So let's activate our virtual environment first. Conda activate vn my project 03. Okay, now once we have activated our virtual environment, the command that we would want to run is this, which is python -m ipy kernel install in the user with the name venv project 03, and then we are giving some display name to it. The most important thing that we have to remember here is we have to install this while being into our virtual environment. Okay, don't run this command from your base. Okay, now let's run the command. Okay, so it says that no module name ipy kernel. Let's install pip install ipy kernel. Okay, seems like ipy kernel is now installed. Let's clear the screen once more and let's try to run the command again. Okay, so it says that install kernel spec with this name, and now if we restart our Jupyter notebook, we should be able to see the kernel name in the Jupyter notebook. Let's restart the server first. Okay, let's close the browser windows as well, and let's run the Jupyter server one more time. Okay, let's open the notebook. And now you can see that your virtual environment, we are able to see it as part of our kernels as well. So if we select this kernel and if we do a conda env list, then we can see that now we are pointing it to our virtual environment name. The star represents that everything that we are looking to install will be installed in our virtual environment. Okay, this is a good stuff. Now what we will try to do is we will try to install a package in our virtual environment which is not present in the base. Okay, so let's say if we do pip list and let's try to find some package, let's say fast API. Let me see if we have fast API in our virtual environment or not. It returns nothing, which means that the fast API package is not present. Let's try to install it from our command prompt. So we are inside our virtual environment. From here we will do pip install fast API. Okay, it looks like it is trying to install fast API. Okay, installed. Now if we run this one more time, let's see. Now we see that the fast API is present in 0 in the virtual environment. Still we are pointing to which environment? We are pointing to our virtual environment. There you go, virtual environment with an asterisk. Now as an example, if we go back and try to open, let's say, some other project file, okay, and here instead of selecting the virtual environment, let's select the base environment. And in this notebook, if we do, let's say as an example, conda env list, then let's see which environment this notebook is pointing to. Okay, so this notebook is pointing to the base environment, and this notebook, as we saw, is pointing to our virtual environment. Now in our virtual environment, we just installed a package called fast API. Now if I copy this and try to see if we can find the same package in our base, let's copy it one more time and we can try to see if it is present in our base. Let's try to run. Then you will see that the fast API is not present in the base environment while it is present in the virtual environment. We can also do a count of packages which are present in the virtual environment. So pip list, and then we'll try to find the new line character. It's a simple DOS command. If we try to run this in the virtual environment, we will see that there are total of 46 packages which are present or which are installed in this virtual environment. Now if we try to run the same command in the base environment notebook, we should be able to see a different number of packages, which is of course 370, right? With this, we are now able to segregate our Jupyter notebook based on the virtual environments. So this will help us keep the notebook and virtual environments clean instead of installing everything into the base environment. I hope that this was useful for the people who like to keep their code space neat and clean. And with this, we are able to achieve our objective of creating a neat and organized code space and tagging Jupyter notebooks with the virtual environment, where we are able to segregate the packages for each project within the virtual environment. With this, let's continue our journey of becoming an industry-ready Gen AI professional. I will see you in the next session. Until then, take care everyone.